Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I was able to hit a legend in the Go Battle League. This was most likely one of the latest times I ever hit legend. Usually I hit this a little bit earlier, but I was able to hit legend with a very bulky team that actually is someone I coached before, played as well, and was like, I need something very solid, and this is definitely a team for that. I went on a 12-game win streak with this team to hit legend, which is really wild, and let's go right into the battle. Starting off here, we're going to have our lead of Deoxys defense for this team. You're going to see every single battle I played with this team, so we're going to have a little bit of a longer episode here today. So you're going to encounter here a Noctowl Sayswap, which of course is amazing for this team. We're running the Dugong here as a Sayswap for this team, which is usually the Sayswap that you're going to use here. This Pokemon is honestly one of my favorite ones for the Open Great League to play. It is just so neutral. This team in general is just so neutral. There is not a lot of Pokemon that really hardwall any of those Pokemon. Even if you're going to get a Sayswap of a Medicham against your Dugong, you're still going to be fine going for some Icy Wind and debuff the opponent. Same goes for the Umbreon. Umbreon actually can win the Zero Shield scenario against the Medicham. So this team itself is just super solid. And here we're going to encounter the Lantern as a lead, which is definitely something that I usually don't really like to face. But here, as the opponent going to have a Sableye in the back, we're going to be fine with our Umbreon in the back there as well. So yeah, this team is amazing. This team is something that I can really recommend you to use, as it is just very bulky, very solid. The Altaria here going to take one Psycho Boost, and here you're going to see one rare occasion where I actually go ahead and go into my Umbreon instead of my Dugong, just because of Altaria being around here right now. Dugong would be way better, of course, but they're most likely going to have a fight, like an answer for Dugong in the back. I expect something like a Registeel in the back, for example, so I wanted to swap out into my Umbreon here and try to knock them out with this. And actually, as you're going to see here right now, we are going to be able to realign, which is really important for us, of course. This team going to now be able to just put their best counters against each other here. So you're going to get out the Swampert from the opponent. The opponent is also going to be forced to go for a charge move very soon here. But here you're going to see that the opponent gonna go for the Hydro Cannon. It is not enough to knock me out, and they can still get to the foul play to force a shield from the opponent here as well, which is going to be very nice for me. And like this, I will be able to go ahead and go into either Pokemon, either the Dugong or the Deoxys. Both of them are fine. I'm going to decide to go into my Dugong here right now, because even if they're going to swap out here right now, which they're going to do, I will be able to go for one Icy Wind. This will debuff the opponent's attack, guaranteed. And like this, I will be able to just survive those charge moves from the opponent's Shadow Charizard here, as they're gonna go for the Blast Burn, of course. I will be able to just go straight for the Icy Wind, and this will guarantee us the win, as I can now swap out even into my Deoxys, go for a fast move, and I'm very close to another Psycho Boost, as the opponent going to decide to forfeit this game. Let's take a look at the next opponent. We're going to have the Deoxys against the Ninetales. This can be a little bit of a trickier one, because the opponent going to be very fast to their charge moves. I will be able to go for one Psycho Boost here right now, as I will swap out now afterwards into my Dugong. This is a little bit scary, but it's a little bit predictable at least. They're most likely going to go for the bait here, but I don't really want to risk it yet. But after I'm going to go for the Icy Wind, it's nearly guaranteed that they're going to go for their Overheat afterwards, because they think, okay, I'm debuffed, like the opponent's debuffed, and they're most likely not going to shield. But here, for example, we see there as well, Overheat is coming through, and like this, Dugong will be able to allow us to realign our Pokemon, which is going to be amazing for me. Especially as you're going to see right now that they're going to go for one charge move. I should go for one more fast move here, which I do, and now swap out with that stored, as I still have my Umbreon, which will be able to hard counter the opponent's Sableye. But thinking now right now, I kinda need to get rid of the Sableye. The Sableye is the biggest issue for my Deoxys defense, so I'm gonna go for my charge move here fairly soon, going to knock them out, and I just have to hope that they're going to have something in the back that I can handle, as the opponent gonna go into a Ninetales. And this kinda tells me that they're most likely very weak against the what's called the Umbreon in the back. There's only a Weather Ball for sure, and we're going to see it's going to be a Trevenant. I can swap out into my Dugong, go for the Icy Wind that we stored up earlier, and honestly, my Deoxys defense didn't really have to do anything in this battle. I will just get for the Psycho Boost in the beginning, I guess, but here is just going to be able to survive the Seed Bomb thanks to the debuff of Icy Wind, and the Foul Play is coming through to knock out the opponent. One more fast move, and the opponent going to decide to forfeit here. Next opponent, a very decent lead for us. We're going to have Thunderbolt on this Pokemon here as well for Deoxys, which is definitely recommended in my opinion here. Rock is a cool move, definitely, because you're gonna get there faster, but Thunderbolt going to allow you to have a better matchup against the Registeel, the Bastiodon, as well as the Medicham. And like for those Pokemon, honestly, for this team, Thunderbolt is kinda needed. You're going to see me swapping out here. I should have went for a charge move first, most likely should have went just for the Psycho Boost, but it's still something that you can play out here right now. They're gonna go for the Frenzy Plant, but as I can debuff the opponent anyway, I will be able to just go for my Icy Wind here right now, which they're going to shield up as well. And like this, I will force the opponent to swap out eventually, because I can shield this next move up as well. This is going to be another Frenzy Plant. I will just go ahead and go for my Icy Wind. Either they're going to let this move go through, or I'm going to be able to get an Icy Wind against the opponent, and I get both actually. The opponent let the move go through, and I get the Icy Wind. Now I'm in an interesting spot here right now, because of course the opponent going to have their Medicham right now around, which can be a little bit tricky, but as Psycho Boost coming through, we're going to put them already into range for just one singular foul play, and this is going to be amazing for us, as we're still going to have our Umbreon alive here. We know that the opponent is going to be debuffed here right now, so you see already the damage output isn't crazy, but they're actually running the move Power Punch. And this can be a little bit tricky over time, but as you're going to see here as well right now, the opponent going to try to swap here, didn't work out for them, and like this is going to be a very good game, as the opponent gonna go and forfeit this game. Next opponent, Horrible Lead, one of the worst possible leads I could encounter. Charm is very difficult for this team to deal with, because usually it's a fairy type Pokemon, and those Pokemon usually resist counter as a fast move, and also going to be able to be very decent against our Umbreon in the back. As you're going to encounter Galarian Stunfisk, you're most likely going to wonder, why did I swap out here? It doesn't really make too much sense. But Umbreon, honestly, after a little bit of damage against a Grand Ball, last resort is still going to do enough damage to knock them out. And in my opinion, this is worth it in this scenario right now. Especially as I'm going to be able to go for a Drill Run against the opponent's Galarian Stunfisk here right now. And this is going to do around 50% of the health of the opponent. Can I farm down time? I cannot. But it's still going to be able to take a Rock Slide here, thanks to the debuff from the beginning. Like this, I can realign. If they go back into their Grand Ball, which they do, I can go for one Icy Wind in order to debuff the opponent here. And I'm gonna go for a weird play. I'm gonna go into my Umbreon, hoping that they don't throw immediately, but they... no, hoping that they throw immediately here, going for the crunch, but no, they're gonna go ahead and go for the close combat there, which is fine for me. I actually did the right call here by going into my Umbreon, as they're now going to have the Obstagoon in the back, and this is going to be a very tough match, because at this point of time, the opponent going to be able to just go ahead and farm me all the way down. They still have the Obstagoon here, but it's going to be a tricky one. They have most likely Cross Chop, and I'm going to actually let this move go through. And you see me doing something weird here. I'm going to overfarm a lot here, just so I can go ahead and go for a double foul play. So the Grand Ball's Charm doesn't come through in time. I can go ahead, knock them out here, and another foul play is all we need to knock out the opponent's Obstagoon and win this game. Let's take a look at the next game. We're going to have a Dunsparce in the lead. Very good lead for us. We don't really want to face it onto our Dewgong. Even the Dewgong matchup, though, can be kinda neutral, and here we're going to be able to go for super effective counter, which really adds up, as you can see. Also, our Thunderbolt going to be neutral, so we don't even have to debuff ourselves, which is going to be very important for this team. And the Thunderbolt is coming through right now, going to be able to go ahead and get some damage onto them, and we're gonna get out a Charizard. Like this, we should be able to get the shield from the opponent, and I can swap out now into my Dewgong. Yes, they have a lot of energy advantage, because I was kinda clunky in throwing my charge move there, but I still should be able to just go for 2 shields here and try to knock them out with this one. If I get out of this matchup with basically all my health still left, I should be fine as well, because Dewgong can just debuff opponents. It doesn't even matter what they're going to swap in here, and they're going to let me farm them all the way down. In comes now the Toxicroak. This is a little bit scary, of course, because this Pokemon can beat basically the entire team, but Dewgong will be able to force a shield, as they don't want to get hit by a Duel Run, and I'm going to be able to now swap out into my Umbreon, and in comes the Dunsparce. I can go for one charge move to knock them out. I don't want to get hit by a Duel Run here, because I know I still survive a Sludge Bomb from the opponent's Toxicroak. And as you're going to see right now as well, Last Resort is going to do some very decent damage against the opponent, and I'm very certain that I'm going to be able to force the opponent to throw against me still here. And like this, there should be kinda out of energy, right? Wrong, they actually still have a Mud Bomb stored. But can Dewgong at least survive this next move? Dewgong can, and Dewgong can farm them down. Very close game though, but not enough to take down this team, as you're going to encounter a lead that I really don't like to face with this team. Lantern is really annoying to deal with for this team here, so we're going to be able to go ahead and still go for one Thunderbolt against them. Gonna get the shield, which is not really ideal here. The matchup is really close, to be fair, so we're gonna go ahead and shield up the Surf, which is not good for us either, as they're gonna be able to go for a free Thunderbolt here right now. So we're not really in the best spot, but I'm going to be able to go for another Psycho Boost, but it's going to be actually a CMP tie, which is really bad at this point of time. And I can at least go for one Psycho Boost to do some decent damage. I'm going to swap out into my Umbreon, and in comes the Ninetales. We're gonna get completely countered here, like there is nothing we can do. Our lead gets kinda countered, our Umbreon gets kinda countered. There is, honestly, I don't really know how we're going to be able to win this game here anymore. The last result is coming through, and we will see that I can go for one charge move here as well. But it's such a bad spot for us right now. We're gonna be able to go into our Dewgong here, and Dewgong is honestly my favorite Pokemon from this team, as Dewgong is just able to farm them all the way down with the fast move, have already a lot of energy stored here right now. We're gonna get out the opponent's lead of Lantern, and they're going to go ahead and let this move go through, allowing me to go ahead and go against the opponent's Gliscor in the back, which is going to be amazing as we can debuff the opponent. This is perfect, like honestly the best Pokemon I could have asked for in the back there, as I will be able to just go ahead, let this Earthquake go through, and I have the Psycho Boost stored, and Deoxys defense going to be able to just finish up this game here, winning us this game, and we can move on into the next one. What do you do against the Dragonair? In general, against like very neutral leads, what you can do is you can just go ahead and go for one Psycho Boost and then dip out. We have an ABB style team, we have a double weakness against fighting type Pokemon in the back, so if they have Medicham, you kinda want to get it out with the Dewgong here. They're going to have the Deoxys, it's kinda like the Medicham, but counter does a little bit less damage because it's non-stab. So this is going to be an okayish matchup for us, and as we're going to see here, we're going to force the opponent to throw a Thunderbolt against me or Rock Slide, as they can now knock me out. I wish I would have been able to get another Icy Wind there, as I would have been able to farm down with my Umbreon. But like this, we're still going to be able to take another Rock Slide. It does basically barely any damage, and I can go ahead and go for now a Foul Play to knock out the opponent, and in comes now their next Pokemon, which is going to be, we have a shield advantage as well, which is really nice, the Bastiodon. And this matchup was honestly most likely one of my favorite, I'm not really favorite, but like one of the games where I really wasn't sure on how this is going to turn out. I will be able to go for another Psycho Boost here, which is amazing for me, because it's going to knock out the opponent's Dragonair, and I can still do some counter damage. Of course, 4 times debuffed counter is not going to do a ton of damage here. We are luckily having still 2 shields left, but still the opponent's Bastion is going to chunk me, so if they get to 3 charge moves here, it's going to be a tough one for me to come back from this. I'm mostly going to go down to the 3rd charge move from the opponent. They have some energy stored already before, so it's going to be just a race here. Can we get to like, I think 3 more foul plays at this point of time in order to knock out the opponent's Bastion to win this game, because this next foul play is not gonna cut it. It's going to be such a close one. They go for the Stone Edge here against me, as we gonna be able to go and have 2 moves stalled right now. I'm fairly certain I win CMP with my Umbreon, and it doesn't matter because I needed still 1 more fast move to get to the move, and this opponent's Bastion is gonna go down here by our Umbreon, and this is going to be again a good game. They're going to be lost in this battle, in this video as well, so definitely stay tuned for that one as well. As we're going to have now the Psycho Boost coming through against the opponent, we saw the swap out into the Toxapex, and you're going to see me going into my Dewgong here right now. You might wonder, why do I do this? If someone saves up something like a Toxapex in this meta right now, while having an Obstagoon in the lead, it's fairly certain that they're going to try to get out something like a Sableye, something that is a Dark type, and so I expect the opponent to have something like a Ghost type in the back, which is going to cover the fighting weakness of Obstagoon, as well as going to explain why they use a Say Swap of Toxapex. So as you're going to see right now here, I went into my Dewgong, as also I'm going to be able to do some pretty decent damage against the opponent's Obstagoon, putting them into range where I can just go ahead and go for a foul play later on if I want to knock them out. And I was totally right here, as you're going to see the Jellicent in the back. This is just something that you have to predict. Like if you see the opponent's lead there of Obstagoon, of course the obvious play there would have been to go into the Umbreon against the opponent's safe swap there, because we did neutral damage with everything, and you would have been able to win this game for sure there against them. But Of course, here I went for the play of going for the resisted ice shot because I was expecting to have a ghost type against me in the back, and it paid out big time here right now. As we're going to see that we can go for a foul play and get them very low, they're going to swap out, I can catch the move even onto my Deoxys, and there's nothing the opponent can do anymore. I can go for 2 more counters to knock them out. I can even let the Night Slash go through here. A Shadow Ball is way more damaging there against me, against the Deoxys in general than the Night Slash. I'm even going to let this move go through because it's the safest play for me. And they're gonna go for the Surf, allowing me to go for a charge move here, knocking them out with the Psycho Boost and winning us this game. Let's take a look at the next opponent. We're going to have the Deoxys against the Swampert against the Deoxys, as you're going to be able to go for the Psycho Boost. This is basically how you play Deoxys, and that's why it's such a good lead right now. It allows us to just do some decent damage and then dip out into another bulky Pokemon. But I'm going to use a shield here. They're gonna still go for the bait, very decent bait by the opponent. And people know that I'm baiting quite often, but I really, nowadays, I'm gonna go more often for the actual move. And here, as you see, I'm gonna go for the Duel Run. And I'm fairly certain that they would still survive on Icy Wind, so I'm gonna go ahead and go straight for the Duel Run against them again in order to try to get the knockout here. And I do get the knockout, which is really nice because now I can realign. And realigning is always amazing, as you're going to also encounter a Marowak. And this matchup here, mostly I should have baited because it was obvious that they're going to shield something here because they're kind of forced to. So this was kind of a mistake by me. And honestly, I was kind of scared here right now that the opponent going to have the Fire Blast, but I didn't really want to risk it here. And they actually have the Fire Blast, which is going to be really difficult for me now to win, as they can, do a ton of damage against me here. I can still go for the foul play, which is going to be enough to, get the shield from the opponent, but I'm forced to shield here, and they're gonna go for the Shadow Ball, and they're gonna get the defense drop, and I'm fairly certain that they would have been able to knock me out here if they didn't undercharge, and they wanted to undercharge, for example. I don't actually know why they tried to undercharge there, but it doesn't really matter. I'm fairly certain I still survive with Shadow Bone here, and I do, and I can go for one charge move here. Maybe should have went for that earlier as well. So I kind of misplay here, but still was able to win. Fairly certain they undercharged against me there, and didn't expect that I would still survive, maybe, I don't know. But this was going to be a good game. And here we go into most likely one of the worst possible matchups that I could face. The Alolan Ninetales. This is really, really bad for me, especially as they're going to have an Umbreon in the back. It is basically very, very, very difficult to come back from this one right now. Like, the Alolan Ninetales is really difficult for this team to deal with anyway, because the backline completely is bad against it, and the lead is just maximum mediocre against it. But here we're gonna get out the Umbreon, as we can take the foul play there, and we can go ahead and go for the Icy Wind, as we can go ahead and now do some pretty decent damage against them. And we see that they're gonna go for the more charge moves, but I will be able to just do some decent damage over the time here, and we can go for the Thunderbolt against the opponent's Ninetales. Please let this move go through, and they do, and this is going to make it a little bit easier maybe. That depends on what they have in the bag. Let's see what they're going to have in the bag. It's going to be the Medicham. And honestly, this is looking fairly decent for me. As long as they don't have Power Punch, I still should be able to maybe win this game, because Dugan can still debuff them, and they have Power Punch. And like this, everything that I kinda wanted to have here kinda crumbled away. And this is going to be a tough one, as the backline really struggles against Power Punch Medicham. And you're going to see already, this is going to be a difficult one to still come back from. The foul play is coming through, it's going to do some decent damage. I just have to hope that the opponent misplays and tries to swap out or something. Or maybe thinks that my Dugong can still get to a charge move here. I'm not sure. Like, honestly, there's no lot that I can do here, right? And we can try our best, but they're gonna go for a Power Punch, and yes, there is nothing that I can do here. This was actually the second to last battle that I played with this team. I think I went 11 win streak, 11, and then I lost one, then I won the final battle, so that was like the one game that killed my win streak, sadly, which honestly was against a kinda difficult team. One of the worst possible leads, one of the worst possible say-sobs, as well as the Medicham with Pup in the back. That was literally nearly impossible to win there, in my opinion. But yeah, next opponent here. That's going to be a little tricky, because it's going to be the Galarian Stunfisk, which can do some decent damage here, but because we were able to do some counter damage with my lead, I will be able to put them into range for just 3 foul plays, which is going to be very nice for me. I think usually that's not in range for 3 foul plays yet, but like this, it will be. And you saw me using a shield against the Earthquake before, and you're going to see me here using maybe another shield. Let's find out shortly. We are using another shield against another Earthquake here, as I can go ahead and go for 3 more fast moves. Going for the foul play right now, I'm over by 1 fast move here, which is going to allow us to get to the next charge move a little bit easier, and we can at least realign against the opponent's Medicham, which is really important, of course, as our Dugong in the back does not want to face his Pokemon here. They are still forced to throw against me. Now I can see if they have Power Punch or Ice Punch, and they do have Ice Punch here, allowing me still to go for 1 Thunderbolt with my with my Deoxys here against the Medicham, and even going for the Psycho Boost, but they're going to swap out into a Drapion, and luckily it's a normal variant, which is way better for me, as now I will be able to just go ahead and go for the Icy Wind. This is going to be a crunch, and I can still take 1, but they're gonna of course get immediately the defense drop, which is really unfortunate here, but I will be able to bait the opponent, which is also really nice for me, as I now just have to try to get to this drill run in time, and I do get to this drill run, allowing me to knock them out. And like this, it's only a Medicham, which basically has no health left against my Deoxys, which is going to be able to just counter it down. There's nothing they can do, even if they have Dynamic Punch or whatever. It does not matter. Good game there. Let's take a look at the next opponent. We're going to have here the Lantern in the lead. Again, something that I don't like to face with this team, but we will see what we can do here. It's going to be also the final game for today. So if you enjoyed this one, also if you do want to have like those intros in the beginning where I talk a little bit more about the team and what we're going to encounter today, definitely something that I could do. I saw like every other YouTuber did it. Like honestly, I was the only one without an intro, so let me know in the comment section if you want that. Otherwise, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and try this team out for yourself, because it's a very amazing team here. Definitely something that you should try out, as we're now going to be able to knock out the opponent's Deoxys there, not the opponent's Lantern there, with our Deoxys, and we swap out into our Dugong. We know the team from the opponent already. They're going to have the Noctowl in the back, and they're going to have the Sableye here, and I'm going to of course shield up the first move, as now everything going to get debuffed by our Dugong. This is going to be very decent for us, as the attack drop comes in here right now, so we can take another charge move from the opponent. Foul play comes through. I'm gonna be able to go for the Icy Wind, and I just have to hope that I can swap out eventually, so I can keep my Dugong still alive for the opponent's Noctowl, but sadly I was not able to do that. But I still survived, but I'm in a range where I cannot go for another charge move, because my health just doesn't allow it for me. Like, it just doesn't allow to get up to that. We will see the Noctowl going to 4-1 shield here, and it still allows me to get to another charge move, which is going to be amazing, as this is going to help me way more than you might think, because now there might be even in range for just one last resort or something. But I expect them to throw immediately, because I had so much energy they went for it, and we will now have the Umbreon against the rest of the team. I expect them that they're going to try to catch eventually. And you're going to see here some lag coming up very soon. I tried to already throw earlier, but it didn't work out. Now I was still able to throw at least at the end. And I will be able to go ahead and go for the foul play, which is very decent for me. But it does not knock them out. I actually thought it would. And now the opponent swaps onto the second one, into the 0 energy Sableye. And like this was the one battle that I needed to do to win, to hit Legend, and like this I was like, oh, do I lose? No, I do not. Still, Umbreon was able to win this game, and this is all I needed. This was everything I needed to win this year, and also just to get to Legend, which is amazing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.